Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here, back with another Warno game for you guys. We're playing a 3v3 public game, so it's just me in this one. We're going up against the 5th Division Blondie, who ends up being on the left side. Brosov Stalin, who is the 82nd Airborne, he's going to be in the middle, and then we face off with Sonar, who is the 11th Cav. On our side, we have the KDA on the left side, and then we have the 4th Motor Shoots Division in the middle, and then we are playing as the Berliner Gruppierung on the right side. So my kind of the strategy here I kind of saw from my allies was, of course, holding Echo, holding Delta, and then we hold Foxtrot. Pretty much just bridge line this road that runs parallel to this bridge is the line we decided to hold. For us, what we're going to start out doing is we're going to be moving out with a couple Strelas. We're going to put one on each side here. We're going to put the Jaeger with the actually Metis. We're going to put one in each building here. So we'll hold this road itself. We're going to be reinforcing on the right side though with some Fallschirmjägers on the right out in the trees over there. They're pretty good. And then we have for our command, we're pushing up a T-64, which is going to move all the way up to the next one. And we're going to check out the 30 Mike grenade launcher. We're going to put it here. Ultimately, it's not going to make it here, but we're going to make a couple of ones. So our biggest key in this one is to hold these buildings in this tree line, but then ensure that there's no flank. That's why we're putting a couple of Jaegers on the right side. With that forward deployment though, that helps me actually against the 119th. So a couple arrow rifles. I guess he thought he would be able to at least somewhat get up here, but really this is an easier trek for me than it is for him. So I think once he spotted my guys here, he ends up like landing here. We also have two planes as well, MiG-13s I think they are. So let's go only with mine. Or not MiG-13s. Not sure what they are. They're the HE. So we capture all 3 points in the backside. We have a ticking 2 war score. So there's that. I think he saw me in these vehicles up here with his recon. And so he decides to land here. And while they're sitting here landed, as you see here with the UH-60, I think he wanted to do a slight heli rush towards these buildings. We're going to pull in a couple of helos or a couple of aircraft right on these helos. Pretty good on every other spot. We're able to actually take control of that road. So it's a MiG-21 coming through. First one comes in, missed the helos as they take off. We see a PVAD that's back over here. The thing is though, with these arrow rifles, moving across this open ground with the Jaeger Metis that has the special forces trait and the shock trait, it's just not going to happen. So I think I let off this 30 Mike. I was going to put it here, and then I end up moving it, and that's where it gets killed with artillery because it was a dumb move. So Jaegers are coming off in the woods, so those are good there. The Metis having some good shots. T-64 has capped this spot. They have a Fighting Falcon up. Not really going to do much other than kind of tell me that, hey, I need more air assets at this point, or anti-air assets. This Jaeger Metis here playing in the middle kills the green archer there, and then the arrow rifles are going to pull back. So at this point, I think we've established ourselves in this zone. In this game though, we see a lot of fighting on the left side that we're going to be participating in with a lot of aircraft just later on in the game. And once I was happy with stagnating these, because at this point this is 2 points for me, and really like on the left side that's 2 points here, We didn't really expect this middle point to be held indefinitely, but you have to hold this one if you're going to, especially with the open ground. They start hitting me with some artillery, and now I'm not sure what kind of artillery this actually was, because it wasn't doing much to me. M109s. Yeah, it really wasn't doing much to me. So I'm gonna go neutral for a little bit here. So the airborne against the 4th motor shoots in. He should have been able to dominate this in the sky, but he just was not able to do what they wanted to, because I mean, there's one aircraft, can't get the second hit. We'd bring a cluster down. It does hit the IHawk, so I did miss the artillery there. The PVID is gonna make some good hits, but this SU-22 is gonna get out of this one. Fighting Falcon is gonna try to come back around, but it doesn't have any more air. So at this point, I'm like, hey, I need some long range in. We're gonna bring in some Cubs, because these Strelas just aren't gonna do it. These they technically, if I'm not mistaken, a Strella's what, an SA-14 I think it's technically. I could be wrong with that. So we're just holding here. Some more strikes there. We don't hit the artillery, it moves off, but there's a good bit of a little aircraft convoy out of there. So just holding, nothing crazy. F-16 HE coming over. Gonna hit Stug in the middle. Yeah, that was right the first time. So SX-7. The SX-7s aren't particularly great, but they get the job done. So he drops off the mortars here, or martyrs. This cluster is gonna come down, sees our T-64. And we're gonna lose our command vehicle in here, but at no point does he actually push up a command vehicle. Now I'm confused why he only has this command vehicle. I'm not sure what he expected to get out of this. And now we start seeing our Cubs taking shots, and that's multiple misses from both the Cubs, which is not great. So here is some metas going out. We missed the first one, but hit with the second one. And we've recognized here that these need to be reloaded as much as possible. T-55 here. I'm gonna give out both of its machine guns. It's gonna be taking shots at the martyrs. Now this metis is gonna open up on the side. More kills. Okay, now they're almost out. Well, actually, this middle one is out. We're gonna reinforce with the Foshamlegger on the left side, so if they try to take these woods, we're here to respond. Good coming in. Napalm's gonna come in and right on top of that. So good airstrike there. We're holding pretty well. And no push up. And I think this was for the sole fact that maybe he was just throwing a lot of points at me. I was kind of confused what exactly he was doing with all of this, because it definitely seemed like he wasn't throwing enough in. And he tried he's gonna bring in some mortars. Maybe he's gonna try to smoke and move up, but with no critical mass to move up in this, I'm not really worried about him moving. Now at this point, I can't really see much of this. I don't know why I always do that. In reality, like, I see this martyr moving around, so this Jaeger was great. We're gonna move up these Fallstream Jaegers on the right side. We got the Washutsen. Washutsen's nice because while it is a shock, it's also security. So we can come up and help against these guys and actually get, if they're getting hit with a lot of fire, can actually help out and make sure the suppression isn't as high. Gonna bring in a Washutsen on the left side now. And again, here's the smoke. Thing is, it doesn't really cover, obviously, the Metis. We're gonna get a Conquerors out here now. Conquerors definitely a bit more accurate than the Metis. 55% there. The Conquerors has full. Actually, it's still longer range, but the Metis is more accurate. I did not know that. Also, the Conquerors will actually, I believe at this time, go through an Abrams. Because an Abrams has 17. Yeah, the M1A1 is 17 in the front. This Conquerors will be able to penetrate it in here. So that's pretty good. He doesn't really bring any HAs in, I don't think. So we can't really test that. Another 30 mils is going to come in. I think he sees my Washutsen, so I'm going to move this back. Conquers starts going for the Abrams. Abrams has to smoke out. That's going to have to be reloaded. So I think this was supposed to be a smoke out here, and realistically, it didn't do much because a lot of them went in the water. So there is an enemy here. I did not realize it at the time, but at least it kind of went through. Actually, I think these are explosive, so I think this one actually hit one of theirs. Seed comes in, misses once, does stun the Cub there, and then from here I say, hey, the Cubs aren't gonna exactly make it, and neither of these MiG-23s. The range of the MiG-23s is not great, so, but they are low cost, so there's that. So eventually we'll bring in a bunch of Strelas, some Strela 10s. Elsewhere, what's going on is pretty good fighting on the left side. So it's a town. Pretty good fighting here in the middle, holding them at bay, and just some good work there. Aircraft goes down. I think that was one of mine, or one of the allies. We're gonna get some more supplies with these Metis, and we're gonna move up our Jaegers and our Washutsen up here. So I think the unit that was in there, I think he actually killed his own unit there. So we see some 113A3s transporting some units, some mech rifles, martyrs on the outside, some little birds coming into the middle. There's that. I think this is his attempt to put a rush on, and I don't know how. I mean, I bring in this cluster, and the cluster hits the martyr and kills it. The two Abrams try to come up now, and the Conquerors fires on it. That was hit by... these two Conquerors over here took out this push. I did not know that. Okay. A lot of seed, a lot of stuff coming in. We're gonna get this AT to come in and... not the AT, but the AA. Try to kill the seed aircraft, and that's not gonna work. F-16 cluster coming in. Abrams still taking some shots from the Conquerors. The cluster is going to come down and actually just stun the Conquerors. That's it. We're going to reinforce it. And at this point, I'm angry. We're going to bring some Strela 10s, and we're going to bring 3 of them in here. I'll move this Fallschirmjäger over here to deal with these Abrams and some side shots while it's retreating, while we reload the Conquerors and the Metis so it can at least fire. Starting to lose some ground on the left side, but middle's kind of holding pretty well. So there is that. And us on the right, we're doing some good work. We take out 1 Abrams. We miss the next shot. And this Abrams looks like it's going to get away from there. The Kiowa coming up, trying to do some vision. They're going to bring up a PVADS. I'm not sure why there's a lot. Well, I do know why there's a lot of aircraft. It's because we've been continuously calling in a lot of aircraft. In this deck, the amount of aircraft that we actually have is insane. And you'll see the amount of aircraft we call on the left side when it approaches. It's going to approach here in a couple of minutes. Once they come in, we'll start looking over there. And that's why I want to kind of show you guys how much we kill as a team. It's about to be called in. No fighting really goes on over here. This command vehicle is going to get hit with the artillery. I did signal it to our allies. And now here we go. Now look how many units are out here. Cluster strike from our teammate comes in. Right side hits the command. That's dead. We have an HE coming in. Hitting this AA. It's dead. Stug coming in with a couple. Another HE coming in. Hitting that. That's dead. Another HE coming in. Misses the AMX-30. We have a napalm coming in on the Roland. That hits it. We have another HE coming down this time on the Roland 2. That's it. Hits it. This one doesn't put on its bombs again. Cluster strike comes in. Hits the AMX-10. Actually, it's not able to put out its cluster. This, though, gonna come out here and hit the Roland 2. So what we killed was 2 Rolands, 2 to 3 other AA pieces, a bunch of tanks in the middle, and their command vehicle. And so that is a big change of movement. And you can see it now. Stug had a pretty good idea of what he wanted in the middle of holding. And this is a combined push with our teammates in a couple of pushes. And we have one on its back leg. The sonar, you're seeing a little bit of his units coming in the middle as well, because he wants to be stagnant. And I was okay with that, because our air is essentially going to just take out the most dangerous threats that we see. So we're going to try to get this MiG-23A to hit this Fighting Falcon, and it's obviously not, because MiG-23 is not going to be able to do that. The air-to-air missiles, R-60s, are not particularly great. Now with these, the R-23s are definitely a bit better. Cluster coming in. There's 2 more tanks. Now at this point, since we've killed all of his AA here, we have free reign just to pour as much air on him as possible, which is nice. We're holding here. He's going to move up some mech rifles up here with Laws, see if he can touch on the outside. We're going to bring up a supply so we can continuously have these guys up, but we also have an Aufklär out here kind of spot, and we're going to hold this road in the open junction. If they come across that open junction, they are going to get destroyed. Or Rasputin is going to eventually move up and take that spot. And again, what you see is The Roland 2s are out here, and the air. Bringing another air coming in the middle. And that's a hit on an AMX 30 and AMX 10, which is subsequently going to get hit. Well, that tank's going to get hit by an AT. But now with that stun, we pretty much open this entire road and allow both of our teammates to push left and right. A couple more coming in. Another tank down. That is going to stun another one. They started hitting with clusters in the middle, but their bug out route is over 1 Cub and 4 Strellas at this point, and 2 other Strellas. So we did lose this one that was in the house. So the Aufklär is actually down to 1 guy. We move him back and we move up both Jaegers. Boston Jaegers are going to take quick work, I think, of the mech rifles. Mech rifles are just regular infantry facing off against Special Forces Elite, which is they take less suppression, they move faster, and deal more damage on top of the Elite Veterancy level. So these are as high as they possibly can be. We're going to bring in a couple of bombing strikes. So there's no one here other than this F-16 cluster, which is going to take multiple Strellas. I mean, just taking down one's fine with me. We're going to hold this line. We have no intention of moving across this. At the moment, still a ticking war score 2, or ticking score of it. This Humvee's back here. We can't see it at this point. And I think he is content of just giving me the space. I'm content of taking it. So we're going to get these Jaegers in and align back here before we start moving up the forest, because I would like to come up and just take this area. I think it'd be good. We're not going to have a lot of time with that, but if we can take this area, then we might be able to move across in the side at the same time. On the other side, though, still going pretty strong. Cluster taking out another air-to-air. And now you have Sonar having to put some PVADs over here because they are completely out of air. We're going to come in with an SU-22. Going to try to hit that Roland. It's going to kill it. We're going to bug out towards the right. The Avenger Paris is out of ammo, so there's that. We're going to take this bad boy, and we're going to hit... Well, we're going to miss that AMX. But we're going to bug that SU out. And we're holding. So the M1 IP doesn't have actually as much either. I'm going to bring some Sheridans. Seed aircraft coming in now. Wow, okay. At this point, they hardly have any air, any anti-air. There's a couple Vulcans here, 20 mils, but I doubt it's gonna really matter. Having a good offensive in the middle now. About 1 minute here at the end of this. Good air power. They pulled in a lot of seed, and what we wanted to do was bait their seed in. But I turned off this Cub, which I didn't realize, but at the end of the day, they still came at us like that, which was quite funny. We're pushing up our infantry in the woods. It's not going to matter much, though. That's seed aircraft. Well, here's another cluster. That takes out 4 tanks there. This dude comes in with the HE. That green arrow is down. I pull in my own aircraft. Here it is. Actually, it's not there yet. It's right after that one. And this AT is going to see if we can hit anything over here. And we bring in another aircraft. We're trying to get that PVADS. We actually hit it, but it doesn't matter much. Oh, this cluster's coming in. Did I end up estimating right? Oh, we stunned one. F-16's coming and an F-15. They're gonna fly right over these Strelas, and of course, we're not gonna get that kill. We're gonna send our MiG-23 after this, and there's no point. We try to hit this cluster and we miss it. It does get off its cluster munitions and misses the Jaeger. But that was kind of interesting that it missed the Jaeger. It's gonna go down. 6 seconds left. And really, this was a, I don't want to say it was a stop, but it was a situation where definitely we just used our air power. It's literally what we did. We had a lot of kills. The Menace team had 2 vehicles there. With the CEV, kind of interesting to bring that in because it's really an anti-infantry cannon as opposed to anything, and it just wasn't able to actually see my Menace team. Those houses and those warehouses are very good to be able to see in that open area. This SU-22 with a cluster was an IHawk and M35. This MiG-21 took out 2 Panzer Grenadiers. Menace team with a Martyr, a couple more Martyrs. This SU-22 with a cluster took out a Martyr and a Panzer Grenadier Martyr. This MiG-21 took out an AMX-10 and AMX-13, so there's the DCA, the Defense Artillery. This one took out a Roland 2. This Jaeger did actually a pretty good job on the outside. So a couple vehicles and mag rifles. We had a couple of kills with some F-16 clusters, the ones that you kind of want to take down instead of the regular M16s or the Seed. These are the ones you really want to take down because they're going to be a pain if they start killing your units. SU-22 AT takes out a Roland 2, and well, the Jaeger came out and did that. So not a high killing game, but essentially what we did was we just grinded out their ability to come across open terrain with a lot of aircraft, and sometimes that does work. So thanks for hanging out. Go and leave a like below, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next Warno game. Later, guys.